Welcome to the Heal, Thrive, Dream podcast, where trauma survivors become healthy thrivers. Each month, we'll feature a theme in the trauma recovery and empowerment field. To promote your recovery, healing, and learning how to build dreams, here's your host, Karen Robinson, transformational coach and therapist.
Welcome to the Heal, Thrive, Dream podcast. Today, our guest is Coco Madari. They are a queer, neurospicy, multi-talented artist, producer, DJ, speaker, performer, and business coach who helps other multi-potentialite entrepreneurs create a business on their own terms. Now, isn't that a fun bio?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and I know you sent me a longer bio for the show notes so people can read more about you, but is there anything you want to add to it out of the gate about your credentials or about you?
Well, first of all, it's pronounced Madari, not Madari. Yeah.
I said it right the first time, right?
You did say it right the first time.
Okay, so let's do it again so people get your name. Coco Madari.
Coco Madari, yeah.
Coco Madari.
Yeah.
Okay, well, people wouldn't know what to do if I said their names right. They just would be like, oh, she must be doing drugs now. She's getting it right. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Okay. This podcast is created for listeners who are recovering and healing from trauma. What prompted you to want to be a guest on the show?
I know trauma very intimately. And there has been a lot of trauma in my family line, but also just being labeled as a Black woman and all of that like racial trauma that comes with that. I'm autistic and I'm disabled and all the things. So yeah, it's something that I know very intimately and something that I've been working on for like many years at this point. Probably since I was like 23 and split up with a partner and, well, escaped from an abuser actually, and just prioritized my mental health and healing from trauma, healing from whatever got me into that relationship. And over the past couple of years, I've just seen such incredible, not only progress in myself, but it's almost like worlds opening up, like feeling like I have been opening the doors on worlds and like situations that I never would have had access to if I hadn't done trauma healing, if I hadn't been able to do the work to allow me to have as much fun as I'm having now and have as many like healthy relationships as I have now. Yeah, I guess those would be like the main reasons.
I love hearing that you're having fun and healing and working on healthy connections in your relationships. Totally. I find that to be very hopeful. And so I don't want us to take too much time in this area, and you can pass as well, but I would like, if you're comfortable, to hear a little more of the trauma you experienced in the relationship, not too graphic or too detailed. Yeah. Then I really want to hear that healing journey. Like, what are the things that you did to heal? That's the most important part.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was just very controlling, emotionally abusive. I was almost like a prisoner to him, and he didn't really have any friends, and because he had a lot of like behavioral issues, and I was held in that relationship with guilt, and I also was I had chronic pain, chronic UTIs, and my body was like basically breaking down because of all the cortisol coursing through my veins. And I read somewhere that there's something I could do to help with the UTIs, like protect myself more. And that basically was just like to grow out my pubic hair. And I asked him if he would be okay with And then he was like, no, no way, I'm breaking up with you if you do that. So that was actually kind of my chance. That was my like gateway to leave, because he broke up with me. He's like, oh, you'll be disgusting. No one will want you. And
So crazy.
just off the deep end, just fully off the deep end. And so he broke up with me, and then I moved out the next day. And then I knew that I needed to go straight to therapy because he was going to try to get me back, like, eventually. And I thought I had like maybe about a month to get myself there. And so I like worked with a therapist and just like worked on that, like being able to say no to him when he does come back. And he did. And I managed to, because I was about to sponsor his, like, being able to stay in Canada. I was going to sponsor him and all the things. So I had to like get out of all of that. And like, this all happened within the months. And yeah, after that, I just continued being in therapy, and I started discovering things that I knew I was interested in, never really allowed myself to explore. So my friend said that she was going to and they were doing on Vancouver to doing freestyling and starting experience of having my world open up in a way that I hadn't imagined, because I was, just in this relationship and going to work. That was pretty much it. And then I just continued like reading, and eventually found coaching, and then my mind blew even more. And then I went into coaching and started coaching people. And just kind of has been a continuation of all of that. And being able to work with the most golden hearted people has also been super healing, and kind of opened me up to, not everyone in the world is going to hurt you thing. And starting to trust people more. But it's been like a wavy down. There's been so really have experienced. Oh,
we're having a little bit.
Yeah,
we're having a little bit of tech difficulties. If you have other applications open on your computer, if you close them, that might help, and I'll do the same thing.
Okay.
That should help with the bandwidth a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you were saying got cut off, so I don't know if you have a thought you want to finish before I ask my next question.
What was the last thing you heard?
It started to garble. It started to garble like the last 30 seconds or so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically what I was saying was just like, oh yeah, that it's been kind of like a like up and down. Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like now it's kind of stabilizing.
Okay. That must be relieving.
It is relieving. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is about your coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that some of the people that you coach are also trauma survivors of some sort, because it's such a common experience for people, the different types of trauma. How has being a survivor helped you in your work as a coach?
Oh, such a good question. First of all, I am a Gemini Sun, Cancer Moon, Cancer Rising, Cancer Mercury, and Cancer Venus. So I have a ton of Cancer placements, and I have been hurt a lot and also have done a lot of work to heal my hurt. And so when I do that, when I like process an emotion, for example, like a really, really challenging, difficult emotion, more equipped to like handle a client's difficult emotion and have, many different tools through that. Also, I recently decided that all of my programs, like my coaching programs, are also going to include 3 sessions with a licensed therapist. So that if there are things that come up that are outside of my scope, or even if the 3 sessions are included either way, right? They're an amazing spiritual queer therapist and just kind of like enables us to go deep without worrying about causing damage. Because I'm not a therapist. I do have lots of tools and lots of skills in helping people maneuver their emotions and working through things and breaking cycles and everything. But I do have a limited scope. Yeah.
You're the first coach I've heard say that they put that in their program. I'm very impressed by that.
Yeah. For every like client that I sign, I give money to the therapist for those 3 sessions, and it's just like included from now on because I have experienced a lot of harm from coaches myself. So
yeah, same.
Yeah,
and sometimes the wrong therapist too.
Oh,
So
totally.
It sounds like you really put some time, energy, and effort into that. I think that's really beautiful.
Thank you. So important, especially now, like when people are a lot more aware of the potential harm that can happen when, someone is coaching outside of their scope or there is like malicious things happening. Like people are just a lot more just like, oh, okay, like here. For people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to ask you, we still are having a little bit of tech. Just might be everybody's on the internet in the world right now.
Maybe.
So my next question is more specifically about your coaching. Tell us, so if someone's listening and they're like, a coach like Coco, tell us a little more about what your coaching looks like. I love the therapy piece, but what else do you do in your coaching sessions?
Yeah. So one of the main things that I do, or one of the first things that I do with a client, especially like they have their own business, typically they have a creative business, is to look at the area creating too much work for themselves, where they might be overworking, where they might be people pleasing, where they're like pushing their own boundaries, where there might be like where they might be attaching their worth to how much they're working, and really just like assessing how the business is doing. One of my biggest strengths is being able to like see patterns and like have insight into areas that the client might not. And so that's one thing we do. I work a lot from a lens of decolonization. So really looking at the different systems of oppression that might be impacting my client depending on their intersectionality. So if they're a woman, they might and like have a harder time speaking up, having some like education around how the patriarchy has like created that, and relieving the shame from those barriers. Also, really, I would say one of my biggest strengths is helping the client design a business that works for them and their neurodivergence and their energy levels. Because it's so often that people start businesses and then are doing the 9 to 5 and like working how they think they should work when their bodies are like, no, I'm more of a like intense burst of energy and then lots of rest kind of person. So kind of like looking at like what actually works for you? What are the ways of generating income consistently that work for you? And yeah, just like really creating a business that is sustainable, that really, what's the word, enhances the client's life and isn't like a big like stress pressure cooker.
I
Yeah.
see. Is your coaching mostly one-on-one, or do you have group coaching sessions?
It's mostly one-on-one. But if I have multiple one-on-one clients, I might do like a monthly group coaching call or something. But yeah, it's primarily one-on-one.
And what about classes or courses or workshops? Have you tapped into that yet?
Oh
So yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
You mean like for other organizations and stuff like that? Or
Yeah, or just like maybe somebody is not ready for individual coaching, but they're curious about some of your strengths and what you can provide. There might be a little course or something that you could come up with.
oh yeah, totally. I've done a couple of trainings that I could point people to for sure.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's listening who's a survivor and maybe they're also neurospicy, how would you guide them in getting started with becoming an entrepreneur? Like, what's a foundational tip that you would state to them?
Yeah. Well, I typically work with people who already have a business, but if they are first starting out, mm, I would say honestly, like finding a mentor that you trust, finding like who do you actually want to guide you? Because there is so much noise out there. And to find that mentor, I would say to follow your intuition. Start practicing getting into your intuition to make decisions. And I understand that's not everyone's cup of tea. Like not everyone like goes by their intuition, but whatever way works for you to find that. Yeah. Because I think a lot of my strife as a business owner has come from listening to the wrong people about what I should be doing and giving away my authority to be able to like walk my own path, because walking your own path is scary.
Really
It's
is. Yeah.
very, very scary. And I totally understand why, if you're like a beginner entrepreneur, you want to get rid of that fear and have someone who can just tell you what to do and then you can whatever. But and that can be helpful. But just yeah, even if you do something like that, really making sure you're always checking in with yourself and making sure that you're doing things that are right for you.
I mean, that advice is stellar.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I think that intuition keeps strong because when we are working with the wrong people, we know because our voice inside, our inner wisdom does try to tell us. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
that was good. Practicing listening to that or finding a mentor that you can really connect with and that you trust. That was really good.
Totally. And like when you're a trauma survivor, it's harder. Like I almost want to do a course on like how to not fall into a cult, because cults are everywhere. They're all over business. And certain people are more susceptible to that kind of abuse, right? People who don't trust themselves very much, people who are looking for some sort of answer, people who are neurodivergent, like me being autistic made me more susceptible to getting wrapped up in culty BS, because autistic people, from what I've read, are more likely to like adopt like other people's like thoughts and perspectives. Like they can get like into that. And so yeah, like also I was just coming out of an abusive relationship, getting into business. Of course, my patterns are going to continue, even though I'm doing a lot of work. So just like being aware of your patterns and like tapping into the intuition as much as you can, which does involve getting into your body, which can be difficult if you're a trauma survivor, but doing that with the help of some like professional.
A somatic therapy work.
Yeah, totally.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you build that class
Mm-hmm.
for how to recognize the cult, let me know so I can add it to your show notes. I can probably send some people your way.
Yeah.
That would be a great class.
I think it would be, because like the culty culture or environment can just happen within lots of different human groups.
Yeah.
Right? And it can happen accidentally. There's lots of things to look out for. Thank you for inspiring me to do that.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, and I run summits. I do 3 times a year, and I've done a summit on church trauma, religious trauma. So I think the cult one's a great topic too.
Totally.
I'll never run out of ideas with trauma.
Oh, there's so much
areas.
of it.
Unfortunately, that's correct. I'll always have a job, it looks like.
Yeah, totally. Well, hopefully, one day you won't.
That would be beautiful. I would love to learn something new because there's no more trauma in the world. I'll take it.
Yeah, I wonder if you're a generator. Do you know your human design?
Yeah, that did come up when I did it. Yep.
Okay. There you go.
Totally. Yeah. Coco, our time is nearing the end. Do you have any other words of wisdom? I know we did that from a coaching perspective, but what about words of wisdom for a listener who feels really stuck in their unhealthy, toxic relationship? Do you have a good piece of advice for them?
I would say, educate yourself about a couple things. The drama triangle. I recently learned about it and broke a very important cycle of abuse that I kept falling into, where I kept becoming the victim. So the drama triangle is the victim, perpetrator, and rescuer. I'm typically the victim or rescuer, but learning about that, learning about narcissism and different kinds of mental illnesses that create predators, people who are preying on others. So learning about narcissism, I learned a lot learning about BPD and stuff like that as well. Really understanding where some people were coming from with very inappropriate behaviors and stuff like that. So just I feel like if someone's in an abusive relationship, definitely go to a therapist and number one. But I found that education has really helped me a lot.
Knowledge is power.
Yep. Absolutely.
Coco, I am very appreciative of your time with us today.
Yeah, I had so much fun.
Thank you for listening to the Heal Thriving podcast.
Thank you for listening in today. Please join us next week, same day and time. Also, I would love for you to check out my website, healthrivedream.com.